Good evening, folks. This is Bill Breeden, and welcome to my Constellation tour for this evening, number 36. We're going to talk about Virgo. Virgo is a zodiacal constellation lying along the ecliptic and also lying near the celestial equator. Virgo is visible, it's best seen between April and June each year, so it is a late spring, early summer constellation. So I have Stellarium here tonight set up for May the 24th, which would be prime viewing season for Virgo. And I also have it set up for about 9:48 p.m. in the evening. So let's have a look. Let's try to find Virgo from a moderately light polluted suburban sky. There are two easy ways to find Virgo. Virgo's a faint constellation, but luckily it does have one bright star, and that would be Spica or Alpha Virginis. So let's find Spica. There's a well-known phrase in astronomy that helps you find Spica. So let's look for the Big Dipper. Okay? Big Dipper's real high up in the sky tonight. So we're going to follow the arc of the Big Dipper's handle, and we're going to arc to Arcturus. Okay? Arc to Arcturus. And then speed on to Spica. So let's do that again. Arc to Arcturus, and then speed on to Spica. Now I've heard it said arc to Arcturus and spike to Spica. So if that works better for you, that works fine for me. So that's one way to find Virgo. Now that would make this star here Spica or Alpha Virginis. So you know that Virgo is in this area, but where exactly? I mean, that's just one star, and Virgo is a large constellation. There is another way to find Virgo. If it's a little bit later in the season, as it is with the simulation here being late May, you can also look for Leo, the lion, find the backward question mark, and then Leo's hindquarters here, this triangle, and this star here would be the nebula. So that's how you find Leo. And then if you look in the southeast, if it's late enough, you'll begin to see Scorpius rising. You'll see this 3 stars in a row rising in the east or the southeast that kind of resemble Orion's belt. That would be the claws of Scorpius. So if you extend those claws upward, you will find 2 more sort of bright stars that point you in the direction of Libra, the scales. So let's bring Leo back into view. Leo is here, and Libra is here. And we already found Spica, that's here. So the whole region of the sky between Leo and Libra, that includes Spica here, would be Virgo. So let's have a look at the constellation lines. Give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. This star here is Spica. Here's the backward question mark of Leo. And then you come down in the east and you see the claws of Scorpius rising, which point you to these bright stars of Libra. So now that you know where Libra and Leo are, Virgo is the big area of the sky between the two, with Spica basically right in the middle of it. So let's have a look at the mythical figures. So you can see here Virgo is depicted as a very large constellation here between Leo and Libra. And the other way we found it was by following the arc of the Big Dipper's handle, and arc to Arcturus, and then spike to Spica right here, or Alpha Virginis. And here's the area of the sky that Virgo covers here between Leo and Libra. You can see Virgo encompasses all of this sky here within this red line. And this yellow line that crosses through it, that is the ecliptic, which indicates that the path that the sun follows through the sky during the course of a year. So once the sun leaves Leo each year, it enters Virgo on September 16th and stays within the boundaries of Virgo until it enters Libra each year on October 31st. And once again, the path the sun follows across the sky is called the ecliptic. And along that line, you will also find the moon and the planets of the solar system. They will always be on or near this line. So you will have to contend with planets and sometimes even the moon within the boundaries of Virgo when you're trying to observe deep sky objects in this part of the sky. So Virgo is also known for the Virgo cluster, which is basically a supercluster of galaxies outside of our own Milky Way. There is one double star within Virgo that I have on my list, and that is Gamma Virginis. So let's go ahead and observe that first. And Gamma Virginis is also known as Porrima, and it's listed here at magnitude 3.4 at a distance of 38 light years from Earth. And let's look at it with a 6-degree field of view to simulate the view through binoculars. And you can see here it has a couple of faint nearby stars. There's a kind of a bright star about a degree away. And let's see if this one splits in Stellarium. It does, but it barely does. I mean, it just starts to separate when we get zoomed in all the way. So if you do observe Porrima with an eyepiece, you'll see these two companion stars. You may be able to split Gamma itself, or you may not, depending on your instrument. Okay, let's return to a naked eye view here, and let's try to see where we are in the sky again. And here's Virgo. And Virgo has many, many deep sky objects. It's mostly known for galaxies. So let's start with the galaxies that are on the Messier list. And let's start with M49. So let's point our go-to here at M49. And let's look at that through the finder. Now remember, we're looking at this from a suburban, moderately light polluted sky. This is an 8th magnitude elliptical galaxy located 57 million light years from Earth. So that's a pretty impressive distance. And looking at it with a wide angle, low power eyepiece, you can see it has the size and shape of a typical elliptical galaxy, meaning it's sort of a smudge with a bright spot in the middle, kind of oval shaped. So let's have a look at Virgo from a dark site. Let's make it dark. Okay, I'm kind of lost in the stars here. So let's see if we can figure this out. Here's the backward question mark of Leo. So here's the triangle that represents Leo's hindquarters. That would make this star here Deneb, or Denebula, sorry. I may have said Deneb earlier. I meant Denebula. I always do that. And then let's go over here and see if we can find Scorpius rising in the east. There are the three stars here that sort of resemble Orion's belt. And there's Antares. So these three stars here, if you follow them upward, sort of point to the two stars of Libra, the scales. And you'll find bright Spica right in between Libra and Leo. So that means Virgo is this area of sky right here. Okay, let's use our go-to here and find galaxy M58. Need a little water here. So any of these galaxies that you find that are near the border of Virgo and Coma Berenices are in the area of the sky known as the Coma-Virgo cluster of galaxies. So let's have a look through the finder. And this looks like a barred spiral galaxy. Let's look through the eyepiece. Yeah, you can see the bar there. Let's get a little bit more power on that. Look through a 13 millimeter Nagler eyepiece with an 82-degree apparent field of view. And you get some nice black space around the galaxy here. Makes for a stunning view. This is a 10th magnitude galaxy located 62 million light years from Earth. Mind-boggling distances. Most of the time when amateur astronomers are observing deep sky objects in Virgo, they are galaxy hunting. It's the realm of galaxies. And actually, you can see the Coma, the Coma cluster right here, the lot 111. Let's see, yep. Within Coma Berenices, it's pretty simple to see too. Okay, let's look for another galaxy here, M60. And again, we're in the region of the sky on the near the border of Coma Berenices and Virgo. And through the finder scope, this is another elliptical galaxy, and it looks like we get another distant galaxy as a little bonus here. Let's look at that through the 13 millimeter Nagler. The bright one is M60, and then you've got a small, faint, distant galaxy that appears next to it, but it's actually much, much farther away. Okay, let's look for two of my favorites together here, M84 and M86. Anytime you see pictures of these two, they're usually together. And let's look through the finder here. And through the finder here, M84, and I believe this one right here is M86. These are two elliptical galaxies that are about the same distance from Earth. They're about 60 million light years away. So here's M84. Let's see if it'll take me to M86. Sometimes you can't click on these galaxies, you have to type them in. Yeah, there we go. M86 is the one above M84. So you've got M86 here and M84 here. And then there's several other galaxies within a finder scope's field of view. You can easily get lost in this area of the sky. So I would recommend that you have a really good star chart handy. Let's go with a low power eyepiece so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, through a 24 millimeter panoptic eyepiece with a 68-degree apparent field of view, you can actually see multiple galaxies in this one eyepiece view. This is absolutely breathtaking. M86 is 51 million light years from Earth, and you've got all of these background galaxies, which are most likely in the NGC catalog. But M86 and M84 are the two standout galaxies. This is a spectacular view. You want to do this from a dark site, and you do want to use medium low to low power eyepiece for the best view. Okay, the next galaxy comes with a special treat, and this is your chance to tell your friends that you have observed a black hole through your telescope. M87. M87 is a ginormous galaxy located within the boundaries of Virgo, and it is known for having a supermassive black hole in the middle of it. It's also known as Virgo A, and it is located 60 million light years from Earth, and the galaxy shines at magnitude 8.6. Here's a view of it through the finder. Now it's just going to look like a typical elliptical galaxy, which basically means an oval-shaped smudge with a bright core. Now here's a view of it through a 24 millimeter. Let's bump up the power a little bit. Use my 19 millimeter panoptic, 68-degree apparent field of view eyepiece. And these other smudges here that you see are just background galaxies that are probably cataloged in the NGC. But the main event here is M87. And when you are observing this with your telescope, keep in mind this is a huge galaxy and it has a supermassive black hole inside of it. Pretty mind-boggling, actually. Okay, let's return to a naked eye view. Let's get our bearings here. Okay, let's use our go-to here and find one of my favorite distant galaxies in the sky, and that's M90. And M90 is a magnitude 9.5 galaxy, so it is very faint. It's located 58 million light years from Earth. Now the reason I like M90 is because it's tilted in a very interesting way. It's a barred spiral galaxy that is tilted like 45 degrees along our line of sight, so you don't just get this oval-shaped smudge. And M90 also shows you a nice companion galaxy here beside it. This is the simulated view through my 19 millimeter eyepiece. Another reason I like it is because of these two field stars. They just frame it well. It makes for a stunning view through the eyepiece. It's sort of an odyssey to observe M90. When I first started with deep sky observing, M90 was probably my favorite deep sky object. I would pack up my telescope and head out to our society's dark site. And the whole way out there, I'm thinking that not only am I venturing out far away from city lights, but I am taking an odyssey out to the stars to see M90. And to know that I'm going to see something 58 million light years from Earth still boggles the mind. So put M90 on your list. Okay, I have one more Messier object here within the boundaries of Virgo, and that is M104, the Sombrero Galaxy. There's actually a pretty easy star hop to get to this one. You see Spica's right here, but you can also see this square here of 4 stars. That is Corvus the Crow, and basically you take these 2 stars here diagonal from each other and you just keep going, and they point you right at the Sombrero Galaxy. And from a dark sight, it's magnitude 8, so I'm not going to say it's visible to the naked eye, but it is certainly easy to find scanning the sky with binoculars. Just point your binoculars towards Corvus, and let's see, let's do that. And here, let me go out a little bit. These 2 stars here, you want to just follow them in the same direction and pan around with your binoculars until you see this obvious bright galaxy here. You've also got this little line of 3 stars here off to the right of it, pointing right at it. So through the eyepiece, the Sombrero Galaxy is breathtaking. I mean, it does look like its name. It does look like a hat, and it's got this dust lane going through the middle of it. The Sombrero Galaxy is located 29 million light years from Earth, so it's only about half the distance of the other Messier galaxies we've been observing tonight, which is one of the reasons why it is so big and bright. Even through a low power eyepiece, you can still see that it stands out. And you can see these other stars, these 3 stars here, one of them's outside the field, that are pointing towards it. Here, let's move in a little bit. Here, these 3 stars here point right at it. So let's see. And you may want to try, just for fun, you may want to try one of your higher power eyepieces. In this example, I'm using a 9mm Delight, 62-degree apparent field of view teleview eyepiece, and it takes up about half the field of view at that point. Okay, so this about wraps up my overview of the constellation Virgo. Good night and good seeing.